This is a 16-year-old stretch G-Class, once called to small by Brother John. Now it's ended up like this. We've already released 3 episodes about its refurbishment. If you haven't seen them yet, then you definitely don't want to miss this full restoration video. First, let's look at the condition of this G55 limo, stretched out like a sausage. The interior is about as clean as the Ganges. You can see water stains all over the place, rust streaks left from cutting and welding, and piles of damaged, removed parts. The most eye-catching part is probably Jack Wang's favorite, kitchen ventilation ducting. From the choice of audio components, you can tell the owner spent quite a bit of money before. And the exterior also can't stand a close look. The resprayed paint is running and sagging. This string of problems was too much for the owner to accept, so halfway through he sent the car to us. He wants us to restore it back to factory condition, with a full body e-coat treatment, so that the next time the owner sees this car, it feels like picking up a brand new one. With the goal set, we dive straight into disassembly. Let's see what other secrets this extended version is hiding from us. After removing the seats, we found the original left and right seat brackets had actually been installed the wrong way around. The original rear seat heater buttons had been moved to the front. This is also why the seat was hitting the trim and making strange noises. Because of the rear partition, the sunroof can't be opened at all. You can see black sealant and hot melt glue filling the whole sunroof track. On the rear ventilation ducting there's a damaged branch duct. Everything looks extremely messy. While removing the rear door's trim panels, we didn't find a single original screw. They were all self-tapping screws put in later. We counted there were over 80 of them. That really reminded me of an old acquaintance. Besides the center window section in the body being extended, the rear doors on both sides have also been lengthened as a whole. The rear door panels were handmade after extending the doors, and then taken from resin molds. They feel very hard to the touch. You can see the weld marks on the rear doors. They've been extended by a full 20 centimeters. Looking inside, it's already rusting, but that's not even the worst of it, until we saw that the bottom had already rusted through. On the other side there's a blob of sealant as big as a sandbag. The rusted area is still spreading outward. We have to hurry up and strip this car down, and stop it from rotting any further. After gutting the dashboard, we saw how the wiring in this car had been routed completely at random. It's basically like turning it into a storage room, where all the car's components are randomly stashed. Next, we have to strip the front end, remove all the harnesses connecting the front clip and the body, separate the body shell, and get it ready for the e-coat process. Once the front end is fully stripped, we can finally separate the body shell. It's time again for our interstellar travel moment. After the shell is off, the entire underside is covered in rust. The sills, the weld joints, and the bottoms of the extended doors have all completely rotted away. I think every owner wants their beloved car to stay with them for as long as possible. If the big three assemblies can still be rebuilt and overhauled, then a rusted-out shell is what truly decides a car's lifespan. It's the countdown to despair. So this is the coat process that will let this car stand tall again. It needs to go through 4 major stages. Back to nearly factory-level corrosion protection. It's as simple as putting an elephant in a fridge. Let's walk through the prep work for recoating and build this dream together. The whole workshop is basically in explosion mode, but I guess it'll be very satisfying for you to watch. Before recoating, we have to remove all the wiring from the body, all the glass sealant, rubber parts, and weather strips, anything that's plastic, every non-metal component in each area. Finally, we repair all the rusted through sections and straighten the deformed panels before we can start recoating. In short, we strip the shell down to bare metal. Once the whole car is gutted, the next thing to clean up is the bitumen and sound deadening pads. We lay dry ice on it, wait about 15 minutes, and you can hear the tar shrinking in the cold and cracking. Then we can pry off large sheets of the bitumen. This method is not like the foreign restorations of old G-Wagons, where they scrape every last bit super clean. The tar here is also mixed with rubber powder from over 10 years, so there will still be quite a bit of residue on the metal surface that we have to clean off. Is that we avoid heating the tar with hot air guns, which would release harmful substances, thus protecting the health of our technicians. Put your hand in my hand. During paint stripping, even after soaking, the paint stripper doesn't lift off the large areas of black paint very well. They use filler that even has fiber putty mixed inside. What kind of operation is that? The bottom layer is parrot metal putty, then there's a layer of green filler, and on the top, ordinary body filler. All this filler makes stripping the paint extremely slow, but that's still not the most annoying part. After roughly stripping the whole car, we still need to weld up all the rusted out sections. Otherwise the whole recoat process is meaningless. For that we have to use the folding machine. The shapes of the side sills are adjusted on the beating machine. The sheet metal angles are brought back to their original form. At the same time, we put folded edges on the extended window sections on both sides, using masking tape to trace the original curvature and profile. Then we can get to work. To make the coat closer to factory spec, we have to get the body shell as close as possible to a completely bare, even surface. This time, using glass bead blasting can solve the sanding dead spots on the sheet metal. Because the blasting media flies everywhere in the booth and can damage the camera, we still set up a little peep window held down with screws, so everyone can experience the process together. The principle of sandblasting is using compressed air to shoot abrasive particles, which, on impact, strip off the original coatings on the metal surface. This not only removes rust and oil, it also removes welding spatter and sharp burrs. This way the body shell ends up with a uniformly rough surface, which is ideal for the coat to stick to. Friends who watch our videos regularly, so this time we'll explain the coat process systematically. The first of the 4 main e-coat stages is pre-treatment. We need to degrease the body steel, rinse it with water, then phosphatize it. Some people said they didn't see the phosphating step before, and only heard us mention silane treatment. Is an environmentally friendly process that replaces traditional phosphating. It offers equivalent corrosion protection, combines with the coat paint, to pass more than 1,000 hours of salt spray corrosion testing, which is much better than the 400 hours typical of phosphating. After the silane treatment is finished, and multiple rinses, we can move on to e-coating. We connect the body to the negative pole. Has risen particles that, under the electric field, are attracted to and deposited onto the negatively charged body. Next comes the post-e-coat rinsing, where we wash off excess e-coat from the surface, and the final step is baking it dry to cure the coating. Once baked, the body shell will hopefully accompany the owner for many more miles and years. As for the shell, we're pretty confident in our work. On the extended welded sections, the surface rust isn't too severe. The more serious areas are on the rear fuel tank, where there's widespread rust. There's also a somewhat awkward situation. So, all the lines and harnesses are squeezed between the chassis rails and the tank. Rust falling from the body shell has already made those lines and harnesses rust too. The front diff and axle housing also have oil leaks. That means we have to strip the chassis down as well for refurbishment. Since we've already coated the whole body shell, we might as well refresh the chassis while we're at it. We decide to de-rust the frame first. Spray epoxy primer on the heavily rusted spots. Do additional anti-rust treatment. Then strip it completely and paint it together with the body shell. At first, the owner thought the chassis rust wasn't a big issue, But after seeing the bare metal after derusting, he decided to have us remove every single loom and line on the frame, and give the whole thing a full cleaning. After the shell is sprayed with epoxy and the primer underneath, we also add seam sealers and structural adhesive on top to further improve corrosion resistance, seal everything, and enhance the rigidity of the panels. The previous extension work didn't even use seam sealer, nor any underbody coating. In this restoration, we want the car to stay with the owner much longer, so we're adding all the underbody protection it was missing before. For the body paint we use 4 stages in total: epoxy primer, intermediate primer, base coat, and clear coat. For all of these coatings we try our best to use high-quality waterborne clear coats throughout, because only with a premium-looking finish will it truly feel like driving a new car. As for the suspension and underbody components, we'll just show them during reassembly. This time the owner also wants the previously sealed sunroof to be restored and made functional again. Parts available. He definitely came to the right people. Back when we converted G65s to the new model, led to a ton of old to new conversions in our shop. So all the removed old model parts don't have to lie cold in our warehouse anymore. Just as we finished matching all the parts, the owner came back with yet another request. He wanted new model rear seats. With the new seats, the cabin will have a huge amount of free space. This idea actually think I can pull off pretty well. Because the mounting points for the new seats are different, we need adapter plates to link them to the body shell. The seat bases are then mounted on those adapter plates. That way we don't have to cut the body, and can install the new seats with no damage. Once everything's ready, we can reassemble the whole car. This time we didn't make big changes to the cabin. Apart from the rear seats, everything else is kept original. When the car came to us, it didn't even have a proper headliner. We sourced 2 old model G-Class headliners and spliced them together, so we've at least met the owner's request of no wooden boards. Also, because the body is so long, it's actually hard for the rear seats to feel the cold air from the AC. So we custom-made a compressor setup and ducting, so that the rear passengers of this stretched SUV can finally enjoy proper hot and cold air. That might sound a bit over the top. The owner was actually very satisfied with the result. Before we show you the final restored look, the car still needs our toughest quality inspector to check everything on the owner's behalf against the strict standards in his own mind. Through the warmth of this half of my life. If one day, amidst wind, flowers, snow, and moonlight, I give my heart, only because old places have never hidden their regrets. In this mundane world, rivers and mountains in the rain, endless wastelands surging as petals drift by. The night wind blows against me. You can forsake more. Another half year has passed, and this stretch G55, one of only 3 in the country. I still don't understand such a tiny rear seat.
In such a huge cabin? What's it really for? Oh, whatever. In any case,